Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Wednesday and another classic video collection. A monster concert held where else? Say it with me, Toronto. Yes, back in 2003, Toronto got hit with a SARS epidemic, kind of a forerunner of COVID-19. And it really shut the city down. They were having economic problems, medical problems, a lot of deaths related to SARS. So what's Toronto do? Hey, let's have a party, right? They organize a concert in relief of SARS to try and help the economy out, hosted by Dan Aykroyd. And this was a concert. I'm just going to read what it says about it here because I didn't realize this. It was the largest ticketed single-day event in history. 490,000 people showed up to a park just at the north end of Toronto. 490,000 people for a one-day concert. Now, the concert was divided into two parts. First part, a little less hard rock, and sets were maybe 19-20 minutes in that area. Later on, the sets got longer in the second half, and we brought out some of the major acts. Headliners for the event, Rolling Stones. And Rolling Stones have always had kind of a connection with Toronto. You may remember me talking way back about their impromptu concert at the El Macambo on Spadina, where they just showed up one night and played a set. They often rehearse tours there in Toronto as well, so Toronto's got a special spot for them. A couple of years ago, they had another major concert there featuring the Stones, and I had a friend went to it, and he showed me a picture afterwards, saying, hey, look, I went to the Rolling Stones concert. And what you could see in the far distance in that picture was a Jumbotron, which was showing what was on the stage, I don't know how many miles away. And I found that's my problem. If I'm going to see the Stones, I want to see the Stones. I don't want to be in the crowd where I can maybe hear it and maybe get a glimpse of something. I found that really spoiled me during the pandemic because a lot of artists were bringing stuff to us online. I remember a couple of great Van Morrison concerts I watched. Lyle Lovett. We had artists like Mary Chapin Carpenter and Alan Doyle that were singing from their home. They come on and do a song. Alan Doyle was doing a show every week called the Suppertime Sing-Along, where he'd do that and was raising money for a charity down Newfoundland way. But you got so used to watching the artists like that when I went to some concerts this past summer, I found it was really hard to get into because I was sitting so far back in the crowd you really couldn't see, and I kind of got accustomed to watching the concerts up close, what I was getting when I was watching the live streams. So, live concerts, always enjoyed them. Great to be the atmosphere of being there. Do you always see what you go to see? No, you might not. I remember once I went to Van Morrison and watched the whole thing on the Jumbotron because we were just so far from the stage. But anyways, let's get back to this one. 490,000 people there. They called it SARSfest. If you can imagine, we even made fun of the name. And let's just take a look at some of the artists that were taking part in this. Some of the Canadian artists and a lot of international artists. Remember, Rolling Stones are headlining the act. So we got Sam Roberts, Kathleen Edwards, La Chicane, The Tea Party, Blue Rodeo, who we've mentioned on this show before, did a couple of tunes, Sass Jordan, another great Canadian artist who also had Jeff Healey with her. And if you remember, we talked about Jeff Healey, that master guitar player from Toronto, appeared in Roadhouse, had a couple of great albums out on his own. He shows up and plays on here. We got the Flaming Lips. We have the Have Love Will Travel review, Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi. Now, they had toured before as the Blues Brothers, with Jim Belushi filling in as John's brother, right? So it was a Blues Brother tune. This one's different. This one is not the Blues Brothers, but it's very similar. And of course, Blues Brothers, the great thing about that was we still had the great Blues Brothers band in the backing. So this one a little different. Have Love Will Travel review, and that was Jim and Dan. We got the Isley Brothers. Justin Timberlake makes an appearance on here, and he was not necessarily well received at the time because he played in the second half when the rockers were expecting a lot more hard-edged stuff and thought that Timberlake was maybe just a little too dance-oriented for what they were looking for. We got the Guess Who back, and again, we've talked about them before, another great Canadian band. Rush, Geddy Lee in there. AC/DC made an appearance. We also have Rolling Stones, and Justin Timberlake joined them on the tune Miss You, and on Rock Me Baby, AC/DC came in and joined them. So I mean, what a day of music. Now, what it is Toronto rocks, Rolling Stones, all these other great bands. It is a 2 CD set, well actually it's 2 DVD set. So it's a concert video, not unlike what we saw with Live Aid, but this one was put together very quickly once they decided they were going to do something to deal with the SARS situation. And we're able to headline with some great artists and raise some good money and draw a good crowd. In this package comes a booklet, and of course with the booklet we got lots of nice pictures. Whoops, sorry. We got the Rolling Stones in there. We got to look at the crowds. A lot of the artists that played here. Again, AC/DC, I can see him in there. Our main guitarist. There's a picture of the site. And it's a fairly substantial booklet, so that's a nice thing to have as well as a souvenir. Now, again, we're talking DVDs, so we're not looking at streaming it. You're probably going to have to try and find a hard copy somewhere. So, if you're interested in checking it out, it's a very historic concert. First to be dealing with the pandemic, or an epidemic at that time, where they're trying to get people back out and boost the economy. A great lineup of performers and a historic event, 490,000 people for one-day concert. I know Woodstock was up there, 3-day concert with that one. And this one, the key thing here, they like to say, is a single-day ticketed event. Everybody paid to be there, although the tickets at that time were only about less than $22. So not a bad fee. Toronto Rocks, also known as SARSfest. That's our special today. Something to look forward to if you get a chance to put your hands on it. A great, great DVD collection. Okay, we'll see you on Friday. Friday we're going to look at another rock band. I mean, it is Rock Week. And until then, everybody take care. Stay safe. See you on Friday.